49 crew members from the now notorious Ruby Princess cruise ship have been taken off the ship after their consulates organised charter flights to take them home. But for now, they'll swap their cabins for quarantine in Sydney CBD hotel rooms, under strict instructions not to leave.
Celebrations as a Kiwi crew member becomes one of the first to touch dry land in over a month. With masks on, 49 Ruby Princess crew from the US, UK, Canada, Ireland, Japan and New Zealand were taken off under the watchful eye of police.
Oh my God, I never thought the day would come.
We are one step forward, so getting off. So I'm really thinking day by day, and just to get off is just something good.
But they won't leave today. Instead, they'll be quarantined in the Sheraton Hotel while waiting for their flights over the next few days. Only one of them has previously been diagnosed with COVID-19.
That person will go into healthcare. The rest are no risk at all.
About 500 crew have applied to come off the ship and more will be removed in coming days, but only when it's confirmed the planes are coming to take them home.
I'm not going to let 500 or 600 people off on a whim that they may fly somewhere. It's not a tourist destination.
The rest will remain on board as the Ruby Princess prepares to finally leave Australian waters on Thursday afternoon, having been the epicentre for hundreds of coronavirus cases and 19 deaths in this country. If the Commissioner gets his way, it won't ever return.
Never. Never. I don't know if I'll be welcomed on too many cruise ships after this anyway. I'm not so sure. But look, I am confident it will leave.
The ordeal is finally over for some of its passengers too. 76-year-old Rona Dobrin and her 82-year-old husband Michael both caught COVID-19 on the Ruby Princess, but have now officially beaten the virus.
I tell you, I don't wish anybody to go through that, not even my worst enemy.
She and some of this crew say after this, they'll never set foot on a cruise ship again. Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
Much like our healthcare heroes, teachers have been going above and beyond to keep students up to date with lessons during this pandemic. Now there are concerns their workload is about to grow further after the state government announced a staged return to full classes. Today in New South Wales, there were just another 6 cases again, the same as yesterday. A couple of weeks ago, we were getting more than 200 cases in a 24-hour period. The number of confirmed cases is now just short of 3,000. And we are getting more insight into fighting off COVID-19. More than 1,700 people have now recovered. Half of those were better after 16 days, while the majority of people recovered after 6 weeks. All of which means we are on the right track to begin reopening our state, and that starts with the education system.
It's the announcement that has parents celebrating.
Happy day! Oh, happy day!
And students saying,
"Oh, back to school, back to school."
Today's about certainty. It's about parents understanding that their children will be returning to school throughout this term.
Public, independent and Catholic school leaders have agreed from May 11, students will return 1 day per week, up to a quarter on campus at a time. That will increase to 2 and then 3 days per week, with everyone back full-time by the start of term 3. Who goes back when is up to principals.
For some schools you might have house colours. It might be having a house colour a day go back, which means often siblings are in the same house colour, or it could be alphabetical.
That could leave teachers with students in the classroom and online in the same lesson.
Serious operational and logistical concerns, almost impossible to implement in many settings.
Mum of 2, Sarah Oxenbridge, also worries about the workload for teachers.
Hats off to the teachers. The girls are both at public schools and the teachers have been amazing and they've managed to pivot really well to online learning, but I know that it has taken its toll and they're pretty tired.
Her daughter Alice is in Year 7 and Josie in Year 4. At different schools, it's not guaranteed they'll be in class on the same day. It'll be a juggle, and she's not alone.
I know families that have got kids across 3 different schools, and the mother's working, so I think that's going to be impossible.
To improve safety, drop-off and pick-up times will be staggered, so too recess and lunch. There'll also be hand sanitizer in each classroom and increased cleaning.
I want to be upfront to say there's no foolproof method. This does not mean that not a single teacher or not a single student might get the virus, and I want to be clear about that.
To monitor any spread, teachers now have priority for COVID testing, and they'll be supported by 7,000 casuals who'll be given 2 days of work each week. To give teachers an extra day to prepare, the start of Term 2 has been moved until Wednesday next week. And until week 3, the current arrangements remain in place. That is, if you can homeschool, please do. But if you do need to go to work, then no child will be turned away from any school. Lachlan Kennedy for 10 News First.